Welcome to another episode of Combat Archery in Skyrim Requiem. During this episode I will talk a little bit more about my build and what I intend to do in order to tackle Labyrinthian. I will do Labyrinthian, Sulcairn and Alduin in this order. And I will talk a little about the build, but first of all you can find on the description a link to the Reddit with a brief summary of this build, and in this summary you will find a link to another group of posts in Reddit with more detail about part of this build. In fact, it was my first playthrough build and I didn't use alteration, and for this one it's basically the same with more alteration. So it's a lone pure combat archer. Lone because I've got restriction, I will not use a scroll or conjuration, and I will not have any followers if it's not mandatory for the quest. Pure archer, meaning I will do damage only with a bow. Combat means I will go in melee range, I will not sneak a lot. I did it at the start of this playthrough. Of course you need that at very low level, but after the episode which I called Combat Archery, I've got enough resources in order to fight against everybody without sneaking. So I don't think I have sneaked a lot in my last video, not at all. And I will try to enjoy the most possible combat at short range. So this is the concept of the build. The other big restriction is alchemy. Why alchemy? Because alchemy is too powerful in Skyrim Requiem. And it's allowed you to do everything you need. You can have magic resistance, elemental resistance, you can chunk potion in combat in order to have always your health, always your stamina, always your magicka. You can do powerful poison, you can have boost on statistic, and you can fortify your damage. So the list is very long, and yes, this is the power of alchemy, and it's fine this way. I don't say that in order to make the developer to redone alchemy. There is one little issue. It also gives you a lot of money right from the start, and money is very important in Requiem. But yeah, so it's a good skill, especially for beginners or for players who want to play Dead is Dead. But for me, first of all, I don't like the way you have to craft alchemy in order to level it up, and yeah, it's too powerful. So it's my big restriction. After that, I use obviously marksman, I use evasion. Why? As an archer, you can bypass easily evasion, because there is a lot of perks that will not help you that much. Of course, you will have a little bit more movement with the first perk and the Windrunner perk. You will also have a little bit more damage, because flanking vexing one of the perk increase your damage when you are moving. I think it's Vexin Flanker or something like that. And it's working with a bow. But it's not that much of damage. And there is combat reflex. This is the reason, and the only one, I really need these skills at this high level. It's for combat reflex, because I intend to do Soul Cairn, and invisible entities you are very difficult to tackle. During my first playthrough, my strategy was to tank the first hit, to use Aura Whisper Shout in order to see them, to chunk an in-combat potion. I don't like that. You didn't saw me drink any potion in combat since the start of this playthrough. And it's not that easy, I assure you. So yeah, chunk one potion, good potion in combat, then use combat reflex in order to slow time, shoot a first arrow, which will be poisoned with a small paralyzing poison. And because of the paralyzing poison, you have the time to shoot 2 or 3 more arrows in order to kill the invisible entities. So you see, it's a lot of manipulation. It's kill a little bit the flow, because you need to pause the game in order to make that happen with efficiency. And I tend to do it differently, but I'm not sure it will work. I will need Detect Aura, which is a master level in alteration. So I will need, I was told, at least to be a 90 in alteration in order to have the specific quest, in order to be able to buy master spell. I don't intend to go 100 in alteration because Mage Armor master spell is way too powerful, so it's not fun at all. So I will have Detect Aura, and with this spell I hope I will be able to see them from far away and try to kill them from far away. And if it doesn't work, I still have combat reflex and a frost shout in order to freeze them, ice form. So this is my plan in order to kill invisible entities. That's why I need a lot of magicka, because Detect Aura without being a master will cost a lot. But I will afford it easily with the Necromancer Amulet. I will change gear outside combat, so it's not an issue, and I will always try to have the spell on. So this is the idea of the build and why I did take alteration. I did also take alteration this time in order to have the 3 magic resistant perk. So at the start of the next video, I think, or at the end, I will have 52 in magic resistance, coming from 25 of the Savior Hide, 5 of the Agent of Mara, and 2 from the Alteration perk, and 2 from 155 base magicka, which will also allow me to have the Necromancer Amulet. So it's enough to do what I need to do in terms of casting spell. And I'm pretty happy about that. It's a little bit overkill, but you know that in Soul Cairn you got less magicka, so that's why I'm pretty sure it will work. So why 52? Because you need at least 51 in order to not get ragdoll by shot and to be immune to disarm shot. Not the dragon shot, because you can't make you immune to the disarm from the dragon, but I need to be immune from the Draugr, because in the first room of Labyrinthian you will have a lot of Draugr. So maybe I will, maybe I'm not sure, I will don't take the third perk in alteration in order to go to 62, because I need perk. So we will see. So the idea for Labyrinthian, the first try I will not be a werewolf, because werewolf was necessary during my first playthrough, and I think it will be again necessary during Sulcairn, but I will really try to tackle everything I can without being a werewolf, which is very hard. Being a werewolf allows you to have 100 more health, and this health allows you to spend most of your point in stamina, and by spending your point in stamina you will do much more damage, because you've got a derived attribute which is damage with bow, and it depends a lot on stamina. Not only stamina, but a lot on stamina. So in this playthrough I did put a point in health and in magicka, so I will have a bigger secondary attribute in bow damage, because of my stamina, my base stamina being less high. But I will have 52 magic resistance without any other gears than the Savior Hide. That means I will be able to use my amulet, my hat, my gloves, and my ring in order to go glass cannon gear, meaning the 4 of them will be 45 marksmen at around 20. The maximum I managed to do in my first playthrough was 22. I don't know if it's possible to go higher. I was 100 in enchanting, and I did use a good potion of enchanting. And as I am not an alchemist, I can have a better potion of enchanting. But yeah. So this is my goal. I aim to have plus 88% or 80% in marksman from my gears, and if not, it means I will keep my I've got a 20% helm right here right now. I can also, I think, keep my glove, because it's 10% plus 30 expertise, meaning armor penetration, meaning the equivalent of 20% damage, I think. Even maybe better. So maybe I will not change these 2 gears, but my amulet and my ring will be marksman gear, 45 marksman gear. Yeah, during my first playthrough, I did go through Fellglow keep easily, because I was a werewolf, and I like this 100 more health point here. I get one shot by spell. Not all the time. Yeah, I will not get one shot, but yeah, the big necromancer managed to one shot me. So yeah, 52 magic resistance, maybe 62, and almost 45 frost resistance with my boots. self-enchant boot, Dragonbone boot, and I will have a Fireburst glass bow. But yeah, for endgame, glass bow start to be a little bit underpowered. But it's allow you to move a lot. So I get lucky here. No, I will have a Dragonbone bow, and I think it would be a Fireburst one, which will allow me to not to do the first room, because I will need to shoot far more arrows than my charge, and I will not recharge it in combat. It's the same philosophy I've got with the potion. So I think I will need to count on the first charge in order to clean the most Draugr I can, the most quicker possible. And after that I will use silver arrows of fire. It will be a little bit less damage, but it will be still 25 more damage against Draugr, and Draugr are vulnerable to fire, so I think it's more than 25. So this is the plan in terms of damage. In terms of stone, it will be Warrior Stone for the increased damage. And in terms of shout, it will be King's Shout, because no in-combat potion, and frost damage will kill my stamina. And this time I don't think I will have the respite perk of restoration. I added the last time, but as I need more perk in alteration, I need to make choice. So I will try without it. But I will have a powerful aura of healing, which will help me to sustain a lot my health during all the labyrinthian. I will also have mage armor, which I didn't have the first time, so it will compensate maybe a little bit my low health. We will see that. And I will have the Circle of Protection from Restoration. I intend to run a lot, so it will not be that useful, but for the first room it will not be that useful. But later, I think maybe it will help me to deal a little bit with the Dragon Priest just before the last room, and the Draugr. So with the Draugrs in fear inside a small corridor because of the circle, I think it will be helpful. And of course, I will need another shout. It's Marked of Death. Why? Because my first playthrough as an archer was in version 3.2 of Requiem, and Dragon Priest was hard. It was more dangerous endgame bosses for a pure archer. I break through automaton. Oh, seriously, I destroyed them with my even not my endgame gears. I did have not too much issue against dragon, but yeah, dragons, they've got a load of health and armor, so it's not easy to kill if you're not two unders with Berserker Rage. But I didn't struggle that's all. It's just very long and boring. And I will not show you a lot of dragon fight. I will show you my first ever dragon fight here, because it's solo clear, and this is the first time you will fight almost alone a dragon. So I could have done it a little bit before, but not that much. I did struggle a bit and died 1 or 2 times. I didn't show that on video because it's a 30 minutes video. But yeah, I was used to kill them far more quickly without hiding myself. Yeah, with this level of perk, I still need to hide a lot. So I will hide in order to kill him. But yes, so Labyrinthian, King's Shout, Marked of Death. Why? Because all the endgame bosses in version 3.3 have got a big boost in armor, at least. So Dragon Priest, and it's cool against Centurion. It's cool against Enchanted Sphere, which was not an issue, with the exception of one of them, because it's a very tight place and they've got a lot of spiders, and she starts to attack you as soon as you get there. But all the other one was perfectly manageable and without endgame gears. So now I think I will need my Dragonbone bow and my Dragon arrows of shock, which were not needed in version 3.2. But for Dragon Priest, it was difficult without the boost. So now they've got, I think, a 200 boost in armor rating and a slashing resistance, which is not an issue for pure archer. So I think it will be more difficult. What I did know is that Marked of Death is the way to get through a Dragon Priest. Not the only one, but for an archer, I did kill a lot of Dragon Priests without it because it was doable in the version 3.2. But in version 3.3, I will bring it with me in Labyrinthian, and I will kill a Dragon Priest before Labyrinthian in order to test I'm ready to go. And I will bring Marked of Death, for sure. So this is my plan in order to tackle Labyrinthian, and I decided to go Labyrinthian first despite all the Dragon Priest in order to show you the difference between Labyrinthian and Skuldafn. In fact, there is not that much difference in theory. It's all packed with Draugr and with Dragon Priest, and even with Dragon. So this is quite the same. I said quite. So if you are able to get through Labyrinthian, you will not have issue in Skuldafn. I can tell you. At least with an archer. Labyrinthian is a smaller place than Skuldafn, especially the first room, but the last room is not big. Just before the last room, it's not very big. So I promise you, if you can get through Labyrinthian, you can do Skuldafn. But between the two, I will go to Sulcairn. I will beat Sulcairn, and I think and hope it will be far more easier than the first playthrough. Sulcairn is never really easier, except if you have got min-max character especially designed for it. A 200 with alteration, and the alteration at 100 will allow you to tank almost everything, even invisible entities. So, and with two hands, you can get through anything. So this is typically a build we can go through Sulcairn very easily. In fact, all you need in order to go through Sulcairn is Alchemy, because Alchemy will allow you to beat the game with whatever build which is able to pull out enough DPS. And if you don't want to rely on Alchemy, you've got Alteration 100, which will negate physical damage a lot. Too much, in fact. So, on the Illusion, I've got also a very good armor spell. So, there is a lot of means in order to tackle Sulcairn. For me, it will be to detect visible entities and to have quite a good armor rating. Almost the idea. And it would be easier than the last time. The last time I did go through along the border of the map, never in the center of the map, aggroing guys but far away from anything, never get forward during a fight in order to avoid visible entities, and I managed to do it. And I did kill a lot of guys. I did spend more than 400 silver arrows. And I don't count the arrows against the dragon at the end. So, Sulcairn, I really hope it will be easier. Because it was not easy and a little bit stressing, and it was not fun at all to show it on video. And not that fun to play. And I will do Sulcairn after Labyrinthian, just in order to show you the differences between Labyrinthian with a Dragonbone bow, Fire Burst enchanted, and a lot of perk, and Skuldafen with Oriel's bow. I got a video of that already on my account, but it was not in 3.3 version of Requiem, so I really did. I almost died again. I am really short on health, and I did have a fire potion. I think I didn't show you, but in fact, from a RP point of view, during my first attempt, I did wait him to attack Delphine, and I was able to identify it was fire attack, and I did get behind this rock in order to drink the potion. So technically it was an in-combat potion, but yeah, let me do it. It was using, I did lose some time to fire arrow, which is not a big issue because when you play Iron Sick, you have plenty of time. And yeah, I didn't need this potion, so I use Delphine as a decoy. That's it. So it's almost the end of this video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope my explanation about how I'm going to tackle endgame contents are clear. If not, let me message. I will give you more precision. At the end of this video, I was already, of course, 75, but I managed to buy my ebony